Thanks for clicking on this video. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon and turn on all notifications to keep up to date with the latest information and discussions. Welcome to yet another long-awaited return to another What If. Surprise, surprise. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Well, it's been a while, almost a year in fact, when we last made one of these. Why was that so? Well, I felt that at the time, there was not much more we could do in terms of a second part. Like, it was pretty much done and dusted. To me, it just felt like the whole idea of Vegeta then becoming the emperor of everything and actually running an empire with a little sense of decorum and respect for his own people. Yeah, that was pretty much it. That's all I could think of. However, Kakarot then came to me and thought, well, you guys really like that What If. So he just came to me with an idea. So after hearing him out, I just thought, yeah, you know what, let's do this. So today, we're going to continue the story thanks to the help of Kakarot. Cheers, mate. So when I went back to this original post, I didn't expect it to do as well as it did. So thank you very much for giving it a look and for being so curious into such an idea as Vegeta finding his potential through Frieza giving him a chance. Let's give a clarification as to what we mean by this scenario. Also, on the plus side, it took less than a year to come back to it. It's progress from the last time, 14 months, less than 12 months. Would you consider that progress? Yeah? Alright, let's move on. So if you're new to this channel, or the premise in general, what do I mean by Frieza seeing the potential of Vegeta? Well, it's more along the lines of Frieza being a little more mature about the situation that he had with the Saiyans. Just giving them grunt work and such, and just leaving them to their own devices, pretty much. Instead, Frieza began to realize the power that they could wield if they were given the platform. And besides, the adage of keeping your friends close and your enemies even closer? Frieza, if he used the Saiyans properly and to the fullest extent that they could, he could keep them real close and really nurture their power to reap the maximum rewards for the Empire and most of all himself. Now, this isn't going to be your typical family movie plotline of Frieza becoming a respectful parent or anything, or saying, "Oh Vegeta, I love you so, you're like the son I never had." No. This is about Frieza getting what he wants more effectively. However, he didn't count on the monkeys being smarter than he gave them credit for. Power is one thing, but a smart prince is another. In the last part, we saw Frieza sure enough embrace Vegeta's power, now double his father, the king. Not only that, he could also tell that the prince was disappointed in his father's lack of spine against the emperor, and would then use that sentiment against the child to make him do whatever the emperor wanted. Such an easy opportunity, wasn't it? Easy, but a little silly, because Vegeta didn't really particularly care for his father. Yeah, he thought his father was weak, but he wasn't particularly enamored with the king, especially when he got older. With this newfound trust, Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz were all stronger than they were in the original timeline, with the prince's lackeys being way stronger than their former selves. I mean, Raditz? Yeah, he's almost in the 5 figures. After trying to kidnap Goku and Gohan, further Saiyans, and then being thwarted by that, they used Piccolo's identity as a reason to go to Namek and then find out about the Dragon Balls. However, Frieza heard the whole thing going on and came to Namek, taking out Vegeta's squad, resulting in the prince going Super Saiyan at the loss of not just his squad, but also his friends. He doesn't even let Frieza achieve his second form before dispatching the Emperor, thusly making him the new Emperor, with a bunch of Namekians and former Frieza soldiers as his initial squadron and his first subjects. After surprise attacking King Cold's strongholds and dismantling the Frieza Empire piece by piece, Emperor Vegeta has now become the new self-proclaimed Emperor of Universe 7. After removing any remaining traces of the Frieza and Cold's influence from the galaxy, or at least the core hub of the Frieza Empire, our Jeets, along with a newly resurrected Nappa and Raditz, start to assemble a new force in the universe. He isn't technically controlling the whole territory instantly. Remember, the Frieza Empire was a huge force covering an entire galaxy. Word has to spread, and some of the tendrils out there don't necessarily have to kowtow to Vegeta. I mean, what's he gonna do? Travel over there? They've got plenty of time to armor up and stuff. But Vegeta wasn't actually handling the situation the same way as Frieza did. Vegeta's style of ruling was akin to legitimate business. He became some sort of a protector king, promising to keep certain worlds secure so long as they provide him with their best warriors for his great army. Yes, that is a good idea for him and his main squad, but it does leave some planets on the periphery utterly defenseless and prone to conquering each other in the interim. Let's hope that these planets don't want to invoke the ire of the Emperor if that's the case. And Vegeta also managed to recruit all of the Z fighters, except the hermit Goku that we talked about, and he made Gohan his protege until the day he could sire his own heir. And regardless of all of this achievement though, Vegeta, although he's now a Super Saiyan, is still only one man. That was the problem that Frieza had, but his power kept people in a state of fear, whereas Vegeta commands more respect, but it also allows for more resentment to brew up underneath the surface. But Vegeta's overall power level wasn't that high. I mean, there were some people in the Frieza Force who could challenge him, but obviously little do they know, Vegeta could just whip out the Super Saiyan power and just best him, but right now, it's all rumors and speculation. So therefore, the remainder of the Frieza Force out there still pose a noteworthy threat, and Vegeta's empire is still technically embroiled in a barney with them. And Vegeta is not worried though. He considers it good training for his troops, you know, a good challenge. That, and he has dragons. Well, more accurately, the Dragon Balls. This isn't Game of Thrones, although that would be kind of interesting. In the meantime, Vegeta busies himself by training with Nappa, Raditz, and Gohan. And over the course of 3 years, Gohan is beginning to get used to being the Emperor's protege, having realized that his friends aren't in danger per se, and after a little bit of manipulation, being told that his father, Goku, was a coward and didn't join the Force and all that, and he's now just in hiding, I mean, yeah, that kind of helps. But what about Chi-Chi in all of this? Well, she's there too. Vegeta allowed her to be with her son eventually, to make him more compliant after resisting the idea of being the protege for a while. And out of its 3 Saiyan training partners, it's the hybrid boy who shows the most promise, which leads to a sizable amount of jealousy and resentment coming from Raditz and Nappa, especially Nappa. Gohan may have a bizarrely sunny disposition after his time with the Saiyans, but he can also tell and perceive that Nappa doesn't like him all that much. However, Raditz decides to use this familial connection that he has to his advantage and gain favor with Gohan, should the kid get any ideas. So in comes good old Uncle Raditz! He's still jealous of the boy though, but he keeps it to himself. It's important to note that Vegeta has one major stumbling block. He can't see it, but we as an audience can. He doesn't even foster the idea or notion that someone other than himself could ever achieve Super Saiyan. According to his own belief, and as the legends go, only one Saiyan every millennia or 3 millennia or whatever you want to believe could become one, and that Saiyan is he! Vegeta may not be a good guy, nor could you describe him as a benevolent ruler, but he's acceptable, logical, tough, but fair, question mark? And remember, Vegeta is a very smart individual and knows what he needs to do in order to make his goals a reality. He keeps things stable, mostly, although some worlds at his court start to spread discourse amongst the ranks. Things are going too slowly for their liking, and the Emperor cares not about this. They need to set about crushing the Frieza Force for good, or else. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, someone learns about the demise of both Frieza and King Cold at the hands of a Saiyan. This someone is Cooler. Although he isn't saddened by the news of his brother's passing, he does step up to the figurative plate, just like his family would do. Cooler would slowly start to seize the most powerful remains of the Frieza Force around him, and these people would be keen to help the brother of Lord Frieza. And as for the weaklings, he has a plan for them. He would send some of them to join Vegeta's empire under false pretenses, to act as moles gaining intel and pass it back to him. And as for the rest, oh, fodder. Straight up fodder. This would give our Saiyan Emperor a feeling of false security. Cooler is also aware that his 5th form might be powerful enough to defeat Vegeta and that new Super Saiyan form, but he decides that pure might is not good enough. That's why during the 3 years of the time skip, the Saiyans are not the only ones who train. One day, Vegeta gets information that some former Frieza Force members wish to surrender and accept his leadership, and they are sending their ambassadors, as well as some soldiers as a tribute, to prove their loyalty. I mean, same old, this doesn't really register with Vegeta. So therefore he welcomes the ambassadors, and of course the moles. Over the next few weeks, the moles report back to Cooler, giving him all the information about Vegeta and his elite squad that they can. And once Frieza's brother is satisfied that he's got what he wants, he decides to go for gold. Another batch of ex-Frieza Force soldiers offer themselves to the Vegeta Empire. And of course, leading this batch of ambassadors is Cooler in his fourth form, who, thanks to Kikuno's inventions, is able to suppress his true power level, or at least hide it in some way. But then Vegeta recognizes this as someone from the Frieza clan. Cooler just remarks, I believe you're sitting in my throne, monkey. Raditz and Nappa charge to attack Cooler to save their Emperor's honor, but Cooler knocks them out without much effort. No ending of lives for now. Cooler has other plans, of course. Vegeta then, sure enough, powers to Super Saiyan and decides to show Cooler his true colors. And initially, Cooler plays pretty defensively, but when Vegeta thinks that he's got him cornered, Cooler turns up the heat and turns into his fifth form and attacks the Emperor with an enormous power boost. Cooler pretty powerfully kicks Vegeta out of the throne room and attempts to end Vegeta in front of a crowd of onlookers, keen to send a message to everyone who would dare try and question this intervention. Surprisingly though, Gohan and the Z Fighters come to Vegeta's aid. Tenshinhan is able to hold back Cooler, at least for a moment, as he did with Imperfect Cell in the original timeline, while one of the other Namekians, the stronger ones, are able to partially heal Vegeta and take him away to recover somewhat. Now Vegeta doesn't want to run away, he wants to fight despite his injuries, but seeing how easily Cooler deals with the rest of them, he has to regroup. Cooler tries to pursue him, but at the end of the day, decides that he'll drop the chase for now, after he takes out the Namekian that saved Vegeta's life. Now Vegeta has to return at some point, and him, Cooler, has some plans for his minions in the meantime. Vegeta gets to a Saiyan pod and escapes, furious at himself. He resorted to cowardly tactics just to survive. He's no better than his own father. Nonetheless, he needs to lick his wounds and get his empire back. Somehow. And for that, he would require allies. But where? There's only one person left whom he could think of right now, and that person is on Earth. Kakarot. Now, after a long journey, Vegeta manages to crash land on Earth, where he is found by Bulma and the Capsule Corps. Don't you have enough? You already took everyone, what more do you want? She says furiously to the prince. Vegeta is furious right back. The nerve of this woman to talk to an emperor like that. Oh, he's not one. He is weakened by the long journey and his untreated injuries, something which Bulma quickly notices. What happened?
There's another one. Another Frieza. I need to find Kakarot.
Bulma thinks that she knows whom the Emperor is talking about, but no one's really seen Goku for a while. The last time Vegeta left with the Z Fighters, Gohan and Chi-Chi, Goku decided to become a hermit, refusing to take part in Vegeta's follies, and became angry at himself that he couldn't stop Vegeta from taking Gohan and his wife and pretty much all of his friends. So reluctantly, Bulma takes Vegeta to Korin and Yajirobe, who give him some sensu beans to recover. They also mention that they last saw Goku with a bushy beard around Kami's lookout. They get there, only to find Kami and Mr. Popo unamused by the ex-Emperor Vegeta's visit. He furiously tries to convince the Guardian of Earth to work with him to try and stop Cooler, but Kami remains calm, refusing to play along with the former ruler. Now, just when Vegeta wants to punish this arrogant old man with an energy blast, another energy blast shoots it out of the way.
How?
From the Room of Spirit and Time emerges Goku, and his hair is golden. Meanwhile, Cooler managed to subjugate all of Vegeta's loyal minions as they wait in a weird laboratory. Something huge has covered the sun of the capital of Vegeta's empire. Good, it has arrived. It's none other than the Big Getty Star. His calls to it were successful, and that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? How do you think Cooler will use the star to reinforce his new empire? Will Goku being a Super Saiyan be enough to help Vegeta's cause? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going, and I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!